Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Sisay.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta to dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Busel mo fine.
What?
Busel mo fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Accent Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Busel mo fine. Wave, your money is yours.
On Thursday, the 7th of August, 2025. And my guest is Honorable Ibrahim Sillah, Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. When I read it from the screen, I read infrastructure. When I, speak it off the cuff, I always say communication because I'm still living in the past. Well, he has a cabinet meeting to attend, and he needs to be in Banjul by 9:30. So let's put him on. Good morning, Sillah, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Peter, and good morning to your listeners and viewers, both on the radio and online.
All right.
And let me also say that I'm very impressed with Lami Cham's very good voice and reading. And I once suggested to him that we should have, you remember Alan Greenspan on BBC from across the Atlantic in the US, when on a weekly basis he will be doing some essays for the BBC. And I think, Peter, we should, think about a program like that where we can have, Cham as our Alan Greenspan incarnated to be doing some readings.
Well,
for the generations of today.
I'll tell you what we have. We have that already. We have Alaji Barrow on the Tuesday edition every week.
Yeah.
And he's done that for years now.
Yeah, they're good. But it will be also good if we have Cham. I mean, this is somebody, I love his voice, former colleague of the BBC. Yeah.
Listen, a lot of people tuned in to hear about Banjul Port and Sanyang Deep Sea Port. Especially, with regard to Banjul Port, 1%, the dominant percentage we heard before was 80-20.
Yeah.
80 to Al Bayrak, 20 to the Gambia.
20 to the Gambia.
Lare comes on a program and I hear 96-4. Yeah. So, well, you tried to explain the 96-4.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you didn't have enough time when Lare was on. Yeah.
So I want to be very structured this morning because we don't have enough time.
Yeah.
And I think there is so much to talk about and also clarify. Now, if we talk about the concession, I mean, we are talking also about the revenue share plus the dividend. And the dividend is only derived from the overall revenue after paying all the overheads, the staff costs, and everything related to what you have been able to earn.
Yes.
So now that's, I think, should be put into context.
So that's
indeed,
that's the net income, not gross.
Yes,
okay.
net income. Okay. So indeed, the Gambia government actually earns 4% of the gross revenue of the concession. This is before they deduct any staff salaries, any overhead cost, and all other costs associated with running the port of Banjul. So 4% of that gross revenue is given to the Gambia government. So if you want to use a simple analogy, like say 100% of revenue, 4% of that gross revenue is actually given to the Gambia government before you do any deductions.
Okay.
Now, out of that, the remaining 96% of the gross revenue, Al Barracks actually bears all staff costs, and staff cost of port revenues is estimated at 27%, right? So this is actually done following our review of the risk associated with all the activities in running a port concession project. And we have run this model, following visits to other countries where we have this type of concessions. Because you asked last week, Gambia Ports Authority had never had any problems of paying salaries. But remember, it's not about the issue of them having or not having problems of paying salaries. It's the risk. And we have this risk template where we are looking at, for example, anytime you have interest rate variations or problems associated with the currency of this country, you also have to adjust, to make sure that, what people are earning are commensurate to the fluctuations and also inflationary measures. So we recognize this as a risk. And then as a mitigating factor, we said, pass that on to the concessionaire, because as a government, we don't want to take any risk in this. So that's why that 27% of staff cost is actually given to the concessionaire to take care of from the gross revenue. Yeah. Now, in addition, running the port of Banjul, including movables, electricity, insurance, repair of the equipment, and all others, also goes up to about between 22 and 25% of annual gross revenue. We said that is also a risk, because with the government procurement system, sometimes it takes longer than necessary to go through a process even to buy a basic equipment for a port. And now we are in a concession. You don't want to be entangled in those type of things. That risk also is added to the concessionaire, and the concessionaire has taken. So that 22% to 25% is also from the gross revenue. And that also includes the payment of the dock workers, right? So 22 plus 4, even assuming that the base is 22, that's 26, plus 27% of staff cost. That's about 52 to
43, isn't it?
No, 27 plus 24,
27, okay, 27 plus,
that's 49.
That's 49, yes.
Plus 4 is 53%. This is minus from the gross revenue.
Okay.
Right? And when you do all that, whatever is remaining, that's the net, in case you are able to make profit. That's net profit. That's what Al-Barak is sharing with the government. They are taking 80% of that profit, and we are taking 20% minus all other things that I have said. So unfortunately, people like Mr. Sisay and those that are criticizing this project are only looking at money at hand, but not looking at all other expenditures that comes and have to be deducted from the overall revenue before you even talk about profits here. But in addition to that, we have conditioned the concessionaire to insist that 10% of even their profit cannot be used for anything, but have to be put in a reserve account that have to be invested in the Sanyan Deep Sea Port. So looking at this concession, all other things being stable and, being implemented, it is everything in favor of the Gambia government. And remember, we are not investing anything in the concession. They have our port, for example, a port that is already, because this is something that they have talked about, we have an existing port. But that existing port was having issues of congestion to the point that people were paying demurrage, and efficiency measures, though government was doing a lot through the Gambia Ports Authority, were lacking in some instances. So we said, okay, take over, but every movable asset and every equipment that you found at the port of Banjul, you have to evaluate it and then pay the Gambia government, which was in the tune of about 5.1 million euro, around that. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's in excess of about 5 million euro. So definitely it is misleading to tell people that we have mortgaged the port, because the entire asset of the port, the land, the equipment, and everything that is found in Banjul still remain the property of the Gambia government. And when we run this concession through other countries and colleagues that have implemented projects like this, they were surprised that we could have pulled such a big score, in favor of the Gambia government. Because the other concessions that they were quoted, the respective governments did not only buy shares in the subsidiary institution that has been set up like Alport, because Alport is the subsidiary of the port concession, which Gambia government takes shares, we sit on the board. But they also have to pay other activities to buy shares in the concession. So we have not bought anything, we have not paid for anything, and all risk of this concession is put on the concessionaire. So I think that has to be made very clear.
How come we still own the equipment when they've given the government, did you say 5.1 million euros?
Yeah, because they will be returned back to the government.
So they are renting that the 5 million euros
when you are going
is
into
rent
an
they are
operation,
paying.
yes, because now they'll be in charge of the operations of the port.
Okay.
So we value all the assets that are movable, the equipment, and we said, okay, this is the value of this materials that you'll be using to run this port. You have to pay for those ones.
And it came down to
5.2
million euros.
Yes.
And the 10% that they have to put in a special account for...
That is from their profit.
For Banjul, for Sanyang Deep Sea Port. Is that the money that will be used over time to finance the...
No. They, in addition to, financing the port from funds that are earmarked, that are provided by Al-Barak.
400 million.
400 million.
Euro or dollars?
It's in dollars.
Okay, $400 million.
$400 million, but
okay.
it could be more because, at the time when we signed the contract, we have seen some depreciation of the Dalasi against the dollar. So if they are to, do the conversion, probably it could be maybe a little more than that. But that is an estimated sum of what will be. What
but it's costed in dollars. It's the Dalasi that is going down. It's not the dollar that is going down.
Yes, but also, when you think of certain activities that will be done, the Gambians will be paid in Dalasi, not in dollars. So,
well, the Dalasi going down means that they will spend less dollars to pay Gambians.
No, it could not be. Because when you look at other services and the conversion rates, you are likely going to pay more.
Oh.
Yeah, but these are non-significant issues because the investment is fixed for now, and they have provided tangible guarantees. Our port facility in Banjul, the land, the equipment, and everything are not used as collateral. So Al-Barak, being the bearer of all the risk, provided the guarantees for any fund that they are going to provide, and we have put in place a timeline for all the activities that have to be implemented through conditions precedent, and I'm happy to say that Al-Barak has met all its conditions precedent. It is the Gambia government that we have to still meet to, which is to provide the lease documents for the inland port of Kaur and also in Basse. Those processes are on, and we are happy that the Ministry of Local Government and Lands are almost ready with those processes. We are talking to the former GGC to cede the land to the concession, and then they maintain their warehouses, which will be valued, and then we will do the rehabilitation of those warehouses for them to ensure that at least, because they too are involved in food chain business.
Al-Bayrak?
No, the GGC.
The GGC, of
so
course,
we will renovate their warehouses for them in these two facilities.
So what's Al-Bayrak's interest in Kaur and Basse?
No, it's part of the concession. We have to build what we call logistic platforms and also inland ports.
Okay.
Because this is essential.
But it's not for them to go and now manage these two inland ports?
No, even if they are to manage, it's within the same scope of the concession.
Which in other words is a yes. They will have a strong hand in the management
yes,
of
but
these ports.
In fact, the government has an option to do a concession within a concession. And if we are not able to get that, then the opportunity is given to the concessionaire to invest in those ones and then run it with government.
Okay. And one of the things that was raised here was the question of waivers. Al-Bayrak seems to enjoy a lot of, privileges and benefits, out of this deal.
Unfortunately, I think it was a gross misinformation. We have not given any waivers to Al Barak. They are paying taxes as normal. All statutory taxes are paid by Al Barak. We have not given them the SIC, which is the Special Investment Certificate, because the level of investment that they have done and the volume of revenue that is expected from this, we insist that they should pay taxes on those ones. Now, apart from building the ports, for example, equipment that they are bringing into the country for use of construction of the port, either in Banjul or in Sanyang, that is given duty waivers. We have not given them any other waiver, like waiver on revenue, waiver on taxes. Everything is duly paid for by Al Barak within this concession. And I understand where Lare was coming from, because in other countries where waivers are given, that's where sign-on fees are given to the port. For example, you have a running port of Banjul, and they say, okay, because I'm signing with you this port, which is an active port, you have to pay me a sign-on fee. Now, the problem there is that you have to buy shares. And that is why we said we are not buying any shares, but we are maintaining our 20% of the profit, and all other charges that I talked about, including the 4% gross, which, by the way, is actually more than the annual profit that the port of Banjul was making when we did the financial models.
Really?
Yes. So because we have not done any waivers for them, we have not done any sign-on fees. That is why we valued all the assets of the port in terms of the movable assets and the equipment and the machinery and everything. Al Barak fully paid for those assets. If you look at other countries like in Sierra Leone, in Ghana, and Senegal, where a different model was used, the sign-on fees were not more than 6 million euro. So for us, and they bought shares also, as shareholders within the subsidiary. So we have a deal that we have signed based on very good, pragmatic, and also very smart, decisions that we have taken with a very good advice from a transaction advisory firm that has a lot of experience in this type of business. They worked in other countries, in many countries, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, and they have given us a lot of information and clues about how other ports have done this and how we can capitalize on the mistakes with hindsight to ensure that we have a good deal for the government of the Gambia. And that's what we did. Was it just a one-off relationship? They advised you took their advice, went into this deal? Are you still continuing to work with them? We are continuing with them, even on the implementation. Because you remember that the Al Barak has already started doing the designs of the port facility in Sanyang. And this firm is working with our technical teams at every stage to ensure that whatever is happening there meets international standard, and that there is value for money, and that government is not in any way disadvantaged. Okay. So we are continuing with them all through to the final stage of this process.